first thing I did before I even started the tough questions series was a set of 20 questions. It was 20 questions regarding the policy specifically, and how comfortable you are with the policy given these questions. Now there's kind of two parts to this questioning. There's 10 questions and 10 questions, and you'll notice that the questions are somewhat the same, but the difference is, at first what I'm doing is I'm dealing with an accused person, and how comfortable you are with someone being accused of child molestation, and really nothing happening to them. And also the second half is dealing with someone who is confessed. So there's a difference. There's a difference between someone being accused of child molestation, there's no real proof, but there's an accusation, so forth, versus someone actually coming out and confessing to being a child molester. So with that in mind, here's my 20 tough questions. Well, it's not tough questions, but 20 questions regarding the two-witness rule in the policy of child molesters. So, first, if my child says they've been molested by a member of the congregation and there's no second witness to the crime, what would happen to the accused if he denied guilt? If there is physical evidence of the abuse from a doctor, would this affect the decision? Would the congregation be warned to avoid leaving their children alone with the accused? If there is deemed insufficient evidence to disfellowship the accused, what if the victim or the victim's family warns the congregation? What if the victim or the victim's family went to the press? If there is deemed insufficient evidence to disfellowship the accused and they move to another congregation, would that congregation be notified of the previous accusation? It's not required for clergy to report abuse in Rhode Island. Would a call be placed to child services to investigate? Would this be different if the abuse occurred in Massachusetts, where it is required that clergy report abuse? How would the abuse be reported to child services? Bear in mind, child services will not investigate any anonymous claims. Would the method, time, or location in which the accusation was reported be made available to child services? Would the contact information for the person reporting be made available to child services, or maybe his position? Would this change at all if the accused was not a Jehovah's Witness? If the accused confesses, would this affect the reporting process? If the victim's family chooses not to press charges, would this affect the reporting process? If the statute of limitations has expired, would this affect the decision? If the accused confesses and is disfellowshipped, is the congregation made aware of why the accused was disfellowshipped? If the accused who has been disfellowshipped is later reinstated, would the congregation be warned not to allow their children alone with them? What if the victim or the victim's family tells the congregation? If the accused that has been disfellowshipped and later reinstated moves to another congregation, would that new congregation be warned? Do any of these answers seem to protect the accused, even if they've confessed, more than protecting the potential victims? If so, why is this the case? With the answers provided, could anyone work this system to potentially abuse several children without punishment? Could you bring your concerns with the process to the congregation openly? Now, I didn't provide the answers to the questions. Believe me, I have the answers. I looked up the policies. I know what the answers are to these questions. But I didn't provide them for a reason. The reason is I want you to ask yourself these questions. After asking yourself these questions and answering them to the best of your ability as to what the process would be for each one of these questions, then ask yourself how comfortable you are with the two-witness rule in cases of molestation. Now, not only that, but how comfortable are you with the two-witness rule for other cases, like adultery? How comfortable are you with an adulterer being alone in the car with your wife? I know I wouldn't be too comfortable. So that's it for the 20 questions. Tim Kilgore, signing off.